A live look in Miami, where Ted Cruz is rallying voters ahead of the state's primary.
Republican candidates are throwing a lot of resources and money at Florida right now. And the big news out of this Ted Cruz rally in Miami is that he has just received the endorsement of Carly Fiorina.
This is, of course, Marco Rubio's home state. But you know what? Donald Trump continues to be the lead in the polls here. Hey, everyone, I'm Anne-Marie Green.
And I'm Vladimir Duterte. Thank you so much for joining us. As we said, former presidential candidate Carly Fiorina has thrown her support behind Ted Cruz.
She says he is the only person that can take on Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and Washington.
And when you challenge the status quo, guess what? You do more than ruffle feathers. You make enemies. Right. It is part of it. It is the price of leadership. You know, people say all the time, we are all known by the company we keep. I'll tell you what, Ted Cruz should be known, is proud to be known by the enemies he has made in the D.C.
Steve Chaggaris is with us now on the phone from the Ted Cruz event in Miami, actually. He's our senior political editor for CBS News. Steve, your reaction to this endorsement, this is a bit of a surprise.
It was a bit of a surprise. They told us that somebody was going to be here, and they didn't tell us who it was going to be, and then Carly Fiorina pops up on stage. I think it's obviously an attempt on Cruz's part to show that he's got momentum in his campaign. They really are trying very hard to force Rubio out, whether it's before or after Florida. They don't want Rubio to win Florida. They feel that if Rubio goes and if Kasich goes, that they are the best chance to knock off Trump one-on-one. And so this is really an effort, part of Cruz's effort to try to stop Rubio from winning in Florida next week.
Steve, the other fascinating aspect of this is she is sort of considered an outsider candidate as well. And so this idea that many people are glomming onto right now, that what people want are people that are not in the establishment, this makes that case.
And also looking forward, she's a woman.
Right.
Yeah, it does make that case. And what's interesting, so talking to people here at this rally, these are Florida Republicans. Now keep that in mind. Marco Rubio is a Florida Republican, senator from this state. These people helped Marco Rubio get elected in 2010. You talk to these people, why are they at a Cruz event instead of at a Rubio event? And they feel generally that they are either, one person told me they are disappointed in Marco Rubio after he went to Washington. Everybody says that Cruz is the true conservative and that Cruz is the outsider. They feel that when Rubio got to Washington, he became part of the establishment. And that just sort of plays into this whole narrative within the Republican primaries and caucuses this year, that voters in the Republican Party are looking for an outsider, anti-establishment candidate. The people here that are supporting Cruz, these Florida Republicans, are supporting Cruz over Rubio because they feel that he's more of an outsider and more of an anti-establishment person than Rubio is.
Now, what are the odds, though, of Cruz actually winning in Florida? And isn't it Cruz, isn't it almost better for Cruz to let Marco Rubio attempt to win instead of splitting the non-Trump vote?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because Cruz is really the only one within striking distance delegate-wise to Trump. And yes, if Trump won here and got the 99 delegates, that winner-take-all, that would put Cruz further behind. But the thinking is that Cruz and his people, and I think a lot of others in the Republican Party, feel that if it got down to a two-person race, that Cruz right now is the only one mathematically that could have a chance at Trump. So, yes, I think in terms of the math, would it help Cruz if Rubio won Florida? Absolutely. But it would also give a boost to Rubio, keep him in the race longer. And the feeling is that Rubio's taking votes and taking attention away from Cruz. Cruz really wants to be one-on-one with Trump, and I think that's really the first goal for the Cruz campaign.
Steve, this narrative that Ted Cruz is the only true conservative in the race, that doesn't seem to bother people who are supporting Donald Trump.
No, it doesn't. And what's interesting is if you look at the exit polling, Trump is doing very well among people who describe themselves as very conservative, as moderate. It's less about labels and more about what is the nominee and what is the next president going to bring to Washington. The one question that continues to really interest me as I look at these exit polls is there's a good chunk, usually about 20 to 25% of Republicans, who say they want somebody to tell it like it is. And if you look at who votes, who those people are voting for, overwhelmingly they're voting for Donald Trump. So it's less about ideology, I think, and more about the fact that he is just no holds barred. telling it like it is, promising to shake things up. And, that seems to be what the appeal is right now.
So where is Marco Rubio going wrong? He seems to tell it like it is. Maybe he's not sort of rude or as colorful, but apparently he has a great ground game in Florida. This is his home state. What gives?
I mean, just from talking to Cruz supporters here in Florida, the overwhelming feeling about Rubio is that he's disappointed Republicans in Florida. They elected him in the Tea Party wave in 2010. They expected him to go into the Senate, shake things up, be an outsider, and then they saw him work with Democrats on the immigration bill in 2013. And that, for a lot of these folks that I talked to, that was the moment where they started to sour on Rubio. And so it's just really interesting to me that we're sitting here 6 days before the Florida primary, and Rubio is struggling in the polls in the state that he's representing. I think it says a lot about where Florida Republicans are on their opinions of Rubio and why they're looking elsewhere, whether it's to Cruz or to Trump.
The other interesting point that Carly Fiorina made during her speech, Steve, is she says Donald Trump buys politicians like Hillary Clinton, and then we're surprised when Washington continues only to serve the big, the powerful, the wealthy, and the well-connected. I haven't heard anybody yet paint Donald Trump in the same category as Hillary Clinton by essentially saying that, he's part of the very same system, even though he paints himself as an outsider.
But that's what Cruz has been doing sort of surgically in his debates, is he's gone after Trump on the fact that he's been part of the system for years. He's donated money to a lot of Democrats, including the Clintons. And you hear Cruz saying that, but he doesn't just leave it there. He then turns it to himself and says, this is why you need to elect me. I'm the true conservative. I'm the true outsider. I'm the true person here that's going to go against the establishment. And so it seems to be an argument that's working for Cruz right now. And that's, I think, where Rubio sort of failed at the debates, where he was just really insulting Trump and not pivoting back to what he could offer to Republican voters. Cruz, on the other hand, trying to paint Trump as an insider, as somebody who's played the game with Democrats, and the real Republican, the real conservative is Cruz.
Senior political editor Steve Chaggaris at a Ted Cruz rally where Carly Fiorina just got off the stage after endorsing him. Thank you very much.